To me, honestly, the word overlanding is meaningless. I think we get caught up in putting ourselves into silos so we can define what is us and what is them. So overlanding to me is just a word someone else came up with that we use to partially describe the adventures we pursue. I think you could just as easily say we pursue off-road adventure or four-wheeled exploration or simply car camping. I don't really care what it's called. But we use the term overlanding because that's the word that's most widely recognized for vehicle-based exploration. Overlanding to me, though, is essentially sightseeing. We want to go see something different, have a different kind of experience. And that's best provided for by using our Jeep and venturing out into the wilder parts of the world. My name is Will, and I have a YouTube channel called Venture to Roam, where we go on epic adventures, we do rig modifications and installs, gear reviews, and then we do some creative content where we just celebrate the overlanding lifestyle. I'm based out of Idaho in the United States, in the lower 48 states, which is a place that is super remote, super wild. We have a lot of public land and not a lot of people. So we tend to venture out to those wilder places. If that's something that you're interested in, I'd love for you to come check out our channel. If you like the videos that you see there, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. We overland because it presents us with beautiful problems. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, there are problems that you have to solve. Eating, sleeping, shelter, safety, communications. These are all things that we take for granted in the comfort and safety of our four walls at home, inside our social circles and society. But when you're 80 miles from another human, making dinner's a problem because you only have what you brought with you. Sleeping's a problem because you're at the mercy of Mother Nature. Safety's a problem because you have to handle everything on your own, and there's no way to tell what's going to happen when you're out there. And communications are a problem because you're literally disconnected. There's no way to connect to the outside world. So I think what happens to us when we're out is that these problems, which are all solvable with the right approach and gear, they take up all of our focus and coordination. So it forces our minds to be in the present. And that, combined with seeking out beautiful locations in our world, creates this connection to the present, this connection to the natural world that I think fundamentally changes how we exist. And that is what drives us to keep going out. So Chris, who's my best buddy, drugged me out. And I think I made like every noob mistake in the book, including slicing my finger open and having to go to the emergency room to get stitches. But I caught the bug. I caught that feeling, that connection that only happens when you're out there. And so Kate, who's probably the best partner a guy like me could hope for, decided to try it out with me. And to our great amazement, she had the same feeling. And we've been chasing that feeling, I guess, ever since. So I've always been a creative person. And when we started going out, I wanted to try to capture that feeling, that soul of a trip. And I don't have any formal training in video production or filmmaking or any of that stuff, but I wanted to try, so I just started experimenting. And YouTube is a place that inspired me, and it's a place where I learned a lot initially, and so it seemed like a natural platform to try these experiments. You know, now we have a little bit of an audience, which is crazy for me to think about, but also really exciting. It makes me want to do an even better job, keep improving the quality and finding that story. So it's been a really fun ride so far. If someone wanted to try this for the first time right now, I would say start small. So get some safety stuff. So if you're going to go off grid, which you don't have to, but if you're going to go off grid, make sure that you have some kind of a GPS communication device. Make sure you have a good first aid kit. We use ours all the time. and then go someplace easy first. So the first place Kate and I went to was a state park that was like 45 minutes away from our front door. So we could bug out in the middle of the night if things went wrong. And by the way, we've done that before. And then see if you like it. And then maybe venture a little bit farther out. Maybe try to disperse the campground. See if you like that. And then start learning about what you want out of this experience. And if it's really remote places, well then that's when I think you really lean in and you start learning a lot. You start studying what the maps are, where you can go, where you can't go, what's public land, what's state land, what's private land, all the different rules for dispersed camping, and then learn about the land that you're on, learn about the wildlife there, the plants and trees, learn what to do if you have encounters with wildlife. You know, all those things that you don't know about that might scare you a little bit. That's where I think you lean in and you educate yourself. So when you're out there and you experience something, you have a good base of knowledge in which to choose how to react or choose how to behave. Okay, so so when we're out here, like right now, it's raining. And all I can tell you is you feel more alive. It's a primal feeling that's based on survival and thriving, I think. Everything feels different. And I don't mean that in like the poetic sense. I mean, it feels different. Like the air feels different. You hear things differently. You see things differently. It's a totally different way of being in the world. You notice when the sun goes down, that gust of wind that happens when the air temperature changes because the sun's no longer there. You look at the clouds in a different way because you're wondering if you're gonna get rained on, like right now we're getting rained on. You know, it's just, you just feel differently. And then when you come back to the on-grid world, I think you take a little bit of that with you. And that's pretty cool. I think, you know, for the most part, our friends and family want to join us. I think it's cool. I'm sure there's people out there who think that we're out of our minds, and that's very understandable. But I've had occasions where friends have flown into Boise to ride along with me in my Jeep and go on an adventure, and that adventure changed them too. And now they're going out and they're seeing that there's another world out there. So we've had a lot of support and a little fear. You know, we make sure we stay in contact and keep everyone updated where we are through our GPS communication devices. But for the most part, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a new way to hang out with friends and a new way to have experiences with family. The number one thing I've learned outside of just technical education on recovery and vehicle maintenance and camping and survival and all that stuff is really that I get to own my own experience. It's mine, and I can choose to share it, which we do often, but it doesn't belong to YouTube. It doesn't belong to the comment section. It doesn't belong to what other people are putting up on Facebook and Instagram. It's my experience. It's mine. I get to own it. And I don't care how they define what overlanding is or car camping or whatever. That's meaningless to me. It's my experience and it's amazing. And I get to own it. So that's my biggest takeaway so far. Okay, if you're thinking about coming out to Idaho, you should know that Idaho is made up of the land that no one else wanted. It was settled by fur trappers and traders and gold miners, and it's a place that has a lot of space and not a lot of people. And so you have to embrace that pioneer spirit, that lone wolf kind of culture that's here, and then know that you're kind of on your own out here. It's a place where you can really, really get lost. And there is everything from deserts to forested mountains to rocky mountains, rivers, lakes. You know, there's enough stuff to keep you busy your whole life, and there's enough places to get lost that you might never come back. And that's why we love it so much. So what's next for us is this year we're driving the entire length of Idaho. It's about 1,200 miles or so, all on dirt roads, right up the spine of Idaho, going through the most remote locations in the lower 48 states. And I cannot wait. It's gonna be our biggest, most ambitious trip so far. We're gonna be gone for weeks, and it's gonna challenge us. And more than being out and being challenged, I am so inspired by finding the stories of the land. This amazing state that we live in has so many stories, and finding those and retracing the steps of history, or just understanding where the trail that you're on came from and what it was used for, is just super inspiring to me. So we're gonna be doing a lot of that this summer. And then we're gonna get out to some events that we've never been out to before. We've never been to overland expos or any kind of events like that. And so that's gonna be a first for us to actually go meet in 3D other creators and people and overlanders, and kind of join the community a little bit more. So that's gonna be really fun too.